Aye, sound.
Oh God, we're here.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. I'm so tired.
We're here, yeah. Okay. It's quite strange because whenever Jared presents like a cool theory of what it means, it's like, yeah, sweet, awesome, good. Yep. This is fun. But it's just the decoding of it is so boring because of the texture. At least Firim's like a fun character.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I think I said this last week or the week before, but when I was talking to Jared, I was like, man, in any context that isn't World of Warcraft, I think this would be really enjoyable. It's just that it being here, not super feeling like it's, I don't want to say like it's earned its place, but it hasn't really found its place very well, because it's just kind of, it's like, it's a load of cool work done and just fired in, and it feels like it's, not that it shouldn't be there, but that it needs a lot more work to fit in. But I think it's like, it's really interesting coming up to these conclusions, but vast majority of players are like, what the fuck is this? I guess that's the thing. I mean, they put the achievement behind reading the books. Is that the only way they can get people to care? Please read them. Which obviously to most people is, click, done. Very interesting.
It sure is.
Yeah. Hang on. Pupper Doggo says, Firim was literally put into the game to give Bellular more YouTube content. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. See, I'm going to be brutally honest. Me and Jared literally had this discussion today.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's some of this content feels like it's, debate, like, I don't know, me, Akalon, Tally, I mean, not that Pyro does, wow. Nope. But, the usual suspects. Mm-hmm. It's like it's just baiting us to do a video so that people will know what the team are thinking about the lore, rather than actually be a really great sort of lore experience.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much to... Yes, there's so much.
I mean, you could probably just read the highlighted... and it'll be fine.
The geometry revealed itself. The fractals aligned. At long last, I found the way to Zereth Mortis. Now, what the fuck does this mean? What the fuck does this mean? Yep. I mean, does this just mean that the magic that has the same art style that Zoval used looked pretty and then you arrived? I guess. What? Who knows?
Actually, there's one thing that's not highlighted there that I'm going to say is important. No other mind could conceive the formula required to succeed. Firim is really full of himself, to the point where I'm definitely wondering things. And not lore things, I'm thinking meta things.
Yes, no, I think, Matt, that you may just be fucking wondering if between this and how much of an asshole the broker who wrote the because obviously the cosmology thing was written by a broker, not a human at Blizzard Entertainment. I kid. But you're maybe wondering if it's they're fucking laughing at us trying to work out what they're doing. And that's the bit when I say, hey, if you're in WoW and you're in narrative design and you thought the Westworld Season 2 was the right way to respond to a community Reddit, no. I think history tells us in the way that panned out that was definitely not the way for that show to go, in a way that would make it a good, healthy show with... I'm not going to get into a spontaneous review of the second season of Westworld, but basically the writers have talked about how they literally wrote it around hoodwinking Reddit. They wrote it with Redditors in mind.
Yeah, and
what did that mean for the average fucking viewer? It meant that Westworld Season 2 was not as good as Season 1.
Yep.
And then Season 3 just kind of turned itself into a dumb thriller, and I guess that's the end of that thing, which was good for a season.
I mean, that's not how TV goes.
I suppose so.
It's a good concept and then it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, never do anything with Reddit in mind, just in general.
Yes.
Never do anything about a subset. Never do anything overarching that encompasses that all of your users will experience with a couple of users in mind. Generally speaking, that's a bad idea, unless you're super careful about, it being like here's a little, a little fun thing for certain people to catch. That's okay. But generally speaking, don't do that. But so I see people catching on to what some people are thinking, which is, no one else could conceive this. Are the brokers the game devs? Friendship with Nathanos ended. Firim is now my self-insert. That's one possibility. I think it's a very ungenerous possibility. It sort of evokes a bit of a bad character idea of the people who may have been writing this. But that's a possibility. There's one other possibility that me and Jared discussed, which I think is very interesting.
Oh no!
Rather than, and this would, I would, we'll never get confirmation. I'd love to know, but rather than this being a developer or a writer or someone, there is a possibility that Firim is supposed to be basically you. That's a really, like, I don't think that's the case.
I have a window to jump out of.
I don't think that's true at all. I think they're just trying to have fun with the character.
Yeah.
But it did cross my mind, is Firim a representative of, guess, World of Warcraft lore YouTubers? Obviously not you specifically, but the collective of the kind of thinking we do, the kind of discussion we do, the kind of speculation we do.
I think basically yes. I think they know that this sort of thing turns into content. That content, like, it goes out, it spreads, it starts a lore discussion, and that's actually generally a healthy thing to have going on in your game.
Yep.
I think the problem is it's a bit like what gets measured gets managed, and I think that's happened so much that the bit of the story that is by far the most important, which is the characters and the plot, that kind of gets left by the wayside. But to move into part 2 then, a testament to a singular intellect.
Oh, we're only in part 1. Sweet, let's go.
The deeper we delved into the mysteries of Zareth Mortis, where more of my colleagues became affected, even... you know what?
No, just read the...
Yeah. The secrets of the first ones were not to be plundered. Outsiders would only disrupt the critical purposes of Zareth Mortis.
Yep.
We shattered our portals. I blotted out my translocation equations, even from my own mind. Any temptation that might lead us back to the outer realms was forfeit. While I did not seek to profit from the progenitor's knowledge, I did want to understand it.
Thus the birth of the enlightened brokers as opposed to the money brokers.
Yes. A victim of lesser intellects.
Oh, sorry. So that orange LMAO had me.
Why had I been burdened by the company of minds so small? Even the land of infinite wonder, the dullards who worked alongside me in Haven failed to appreciate the purpose that drove my every thought and deed. I had to reach the sphincter. It was blasphemy, they claimed. The mysteries there were too sacred, truths not to be approached or even pondered. They labeled me a heretic. When my back was turned, they sabotaged my research. Finally, they declared me an apostate and banished me from Haven, the very foothold I gave them. So, Firim, just fucking mad lad. Oh. And I suppose these orange ones, these are maybe the big
Yeah, the
big
orange
boys?
ones are the big ones, 100%.
Okay. They've access to the... Yes. But like everything else in Zareth Mortis, they were part of a pattern. This is talking about the servitors. Mm-hmm. A geometry that shifted. What does it mean? Expanding, contracting as demanded by the duty put before them. Are you just saying their form changed to fit a function? Could we have it in less of a wanky maths way, please? I mean, I guess that's how they're trying to make these guys sound, but it's like when this is the only way that we see the lore, it's just how it feels.
Certainly unique.
Yes. Afterlives assembled according to the needs of the Arbiter's judgments.
Oh, hang on a second. When I detached my consciousness from the limitations of perception, all right, sweet. Frame just took a load of shrooms.
Yeah. You saw the grand architecture put into place. Afterlives assembled according to the needs of the Arbiter's judgments.
Pug.
Damn, so I guess if Pelagos just decides funfair, Zareth Mortis is going to make a funfair for everyone.
Class. Do that.
Great.
Replace the Darkmoon Fair.
It was the automa who carried out these duties, forging fauna and terrain, encasing them in orbs to be sent out into the in-between like seeds falling into fertile soil. Do you see? Do you understand as I do? Everything about the Shadowlands, everything is part of the pattern. A closed system which nothing is lost. Even that which is seemingly destroyed is merely being reshaped to a new purpose.
Hey, that's like real life.
Entropy, though.
Yeah.
Devourers, though.
Yeah, Devourers are entropy.
What's going on? Purpose. Myopic. Though they are, perhaps the attendants understand some small measure of this mystery. Yeah, cool. Just the afterlife printer, like.
Aye, sound. Sound is a pound.
We should have never went to the Shadowlands. It was a terrible idea.
Or we should have went to the Shadowlands. That was a grey filter over the world.
Okay, he's talking about things, just saying that the automa, they spoke in words he couldn't understand. He spoke in tones and echoes. The language of the automa is not merely words. No, it was part and parcel of the ciphers. The words themselves were keys to understanding the geometry. The fractals. Like, I get it. Geometry and fractals, they're like the word of the day.
Cool, yeah.
But
this stuff is cool conceptually.
yeah,
But you're not
guess.
doing the work to make it cool in game.
Yeah, that's the bit. Okay, yeah, so right, the oracles. They sang songs to their kin. And so, at first, I thought they were unique in only appearance. But as I drew close to better observe its duty, something unexpected happened. I heard its voice. What words did it offer? It spoke images, riddles, prophecies. Then it struck me. The oracles spoke in both one truth and 1,000, not as separate thoughts, but as one in the same instant.
Literally big brain.
Big brain.
I can think two things at once. Yeah.
Big brain. Long have I scoffed at what I learned of the Void Lords or demons from the Nether. I held Death's pantheon in higher regard. But now I know they are just as limited. Truth lies not in one direction or another, but in the other intersection of. This is the bit that says, I Lamau, the cosmology chart in... Basically, this is just saying, I Lamau, Grimoire of the Shadowlands. It's a biased perspective, bruh. I'm Firim. I appreciate both Grimoire of the Shadowlands and Chronicle Volumes 1, 2, and 3. I'm intelligent. That's what Firim thinks.
Yep.
The first ones have parceled out their gifts, but gave no child, all of them. No wonder these offspring bickered with such incessant jealousy. Their very nature was one of denial. Mm-hmm. And then he blacked out. He just lost conscious. All those shrooms you talked
He's
about.
literally just, this dude's got real high. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, here we go, everyone. It's like the flavor text does half the damage, so I may as well say it too.
Go for it.
Every new discovery in Zereth Mortis drew me back to the mysteries of the first ones. I sought to understand their nature, yet each time I believed I was nearing an answer, I found myself drifting further away. I considered again their designs. The pattern, lines and curves, arcs and angles. Where? What? Why? How? Please explain. And turns. Oh, so many turns. The 6 forces that pointed towards a 7th and yet denied it. For long while I considered this seeming contradiction no more than another variable, an unknown waiting to be solved. But the song of the oracle continued to reverberate in my consciousness. And I was allowed to, take a breath. And as I was allowed to,
Yeah, that's just wrong.
Oh, okay, so that's why Michael.exe fucking stopped
Yes.
responding.
And as I was allowed, it's as I allowed my focus to soften.
Yes. My grip upon the tangible to loosen, the geometry took shape in my mind. He's just high. And this whole thing again, it just does feel like whenever someone's like super high, they think they're really profound and they just scratch it all down.
Yeah.
Afterwards usually look out in the morning and think, turns out I didn't solve everything in 5 minutes.
This is just
Matt?
This is an ayahuasca adventure.
It was both 6 and 7. The 6 were one and the 7th was the other. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Did they desire union? The song seemed to say otherwise. Both were, yet only one could be.
Hey, Michael.
Hey.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
7, 8, 9.
Oh, fuck. That's the only thing I can think of.
The melody shifted. I shuddered at the shape it took. It was not a variable to be solved. It was a solution awaiting its opportunity. The song must not be allowed to end. Do the first ones still sing it? Truly, I do not know. But if they do not, who will?
I wonder what's
going on.
I wonder if there's a cosmic being who could sing
Yeah.
a song of something. Aye.
Well, let's have, finally, Matt, some ruminations upon the fragility of all things. In fairness,
I do plenty of that. No
that's
worries.
basically our day-to-day discussions.
Yep.
So, though the jailer has been defeated and the Shadowlands made whole again, I find myself unable to celebrate these victories. I love it. I just fucking love it. At the end of every expansion, somebody's just like, yeah.
That's such a good sound.
For I have studied the inner workings of the sepulchre. I'll restrain myself. Seen the powers with which the jailer sought to remake reality. Did you know? These observations fill me. They make me pure feared. They fill him with a fear that shakes the very core of his being. It is clear to me now that there must be a Zareth for each force of the cosmos, and within them an inner sanctum akin to the sphincter. It's just fucking cosmic diarrhea.
I've lost my mind sitting here. Oh my.
I mean, that's it. I think this is actually just their plan to make everyone brain damaged. Actually, if we're so brain damaged because we've read this, maybe we will just accept Titan Forging back in just a million bing bing wahoos and XP bars and and if that is, and like this is written for us.
Oh yeah,
We've been pumping out this. There's a Zareth in every lands, Life lands, Shadowlands, Demon lands, whatever. We've been pumping this out for the last wee while. It's like this is literally, this is made for us. This is just going, you were right.
Oh fucking hell.
We're just like, all right, well, kind of a good story.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, yeah, like that's the one thing I think people generally like. Well, people aren't going to remember, very much from all of this. But I think people are going to remember, God, I can't, yeah, that's crazy clownfish shed. Anyway, everyone is a robot or descended from robots. Yeah. Fucking swell. Fucking swell. Keep it lit.
And if that is true, then these sanctums must be connected on some fundamental level, a connection that the jailer sought to exploit. What he began in the sepulchre was meant to cascade outward from one Zareth to the next, until we were all dominated by his power. Ooh, the heart of the Shadowlands acting as a doorway to the heart of each cosmic force, in turn, one after the other bound to his will. But if his scheme was thwarted, then why is my mind ill at ease? Because I have seen how fragile the pattern is, how delicate the scales that keep the six forces in balance, and how delicate they are. And if the jailer, in his act of male violence, left behind...
Oh, hang on now.
It was Blizzard, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah,
left behind but the most imperceptible of cracks in the pattern, then I fear... what is tiny may only grow until the balance itself is prone to be shattered by another cosmic force applying relentless pressure. I pray the first ones anticipated such an eventuality that they would leave measures in place to preserve their grand design unless their design was never meant to endure, and that is the possibility that haunts me. So basically the big crunch theory then. Something like that, maybe. That's what we're going for. Maybe it's that this is all powering something up. Maybe actually this is just we're living inside the fucking power brick of the first one's iPhone charger. Who knows?
That's exactly it. I mean, my thought on like their design was never meant to endure, and that's a possibility that haunts me. To me, that's it all says that like because the purpose, right? Remember that.
The purpose.
Does anyone remember the purpose or
Just
anything they did with the purpose?
Yeah.
So they had the purpose. They were talking about it, and then the threads of fate never went anywhere.
Happened in a characterful manner, or really meant anything at all other than being flavor. Cool.
Yeah, they didn't give it.
That was the religion of the land of death.
Yeah,
that was like, I mean, the purpose just so that we're under no illusions as to how much this has not worked. Yeah. Imagine if, say, the Judeo-Christian heaven had its own religion.
Yeah.
And the implications of that.
Yeah.
Seems worth exploring to me, but I guess they ran out of time or forgot.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing where I feel like that's about that's about the purpose, because one thing that I noticed in the PTR campaign is that whenever you show up, they're like, the first one's in the song word noisy fractal geometry. You were there. The sacred fucking, I don't know, the sacred mental wall scratchings told of that you're forthcoming, which implies that the purpose includes the purpose ending. And it's that kind of, the prophecy is that the prophecy will end. That kind of shit where all of this was planned by the first ones. The jailer was planned, all this shit was planned, and then whatever happens here leads into the grander plan. And then the Void will maybe introduce something about destroying the plan or something like that. But fundamentally, all this Zereth shit leads to Azeroth. And we awaken Azeroth, and she does the sing, and the big bad of the 7th goes away. But that's spoilers for 7 expansions from now. Sorry. But it's all about the purpose to me. It's all about, like, that's what that is to me. It's, the purpose is all preordained.
Yeah.
Everything's been preordained. What does that mean? Does anything we do matter? Does anything you do matter? Who knows? Also, video game. Yeah.
Of course it does. It leads us into the next expansion. That's how it matters.
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, this is the stuff that they thought about, and they put it at the start of the game, at the end of the game, but forgot to put it in the middle of the game because they ran out of time or resources or I don't know.
Matt, why does Bane say for the Shadowlands?
Because the Shadowlands are really important and cool, and Bane cares about them loads.
But would that not like completely shatter Bane's like entire religion, upbringing, thoughts about his deceased father, basically entire experience of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess fuck me for thinking Tauren mythology was cool. You know the way that we in patch 9.0 go around erasing a Tauren's identity by like killing their memories.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's really interesting to me. Because as we've followed in some videos, especially the one that released today, go watch it after, it's really good, has the Tauren mythology. Yeah. Is clearly something they're planning.
Yeah.
All of this stuff has links to Tauren mythology. At the same time, they're just like, for the Shadowlands.
Yeah. I mean, the jailer has 300 words of dialogue from the start. We actually worked this out yesterday because there was a 4chan post that just had every line the jailer had said up until
all 39
9.2. He has 39s.
Not including 9.2.
Yeah. 39 lines of dialogue, up to but not including 9.2. Yeah. And those 39, like one of them was just interesting.
Yeah.
There's 39 lines of dialogue equating to 300 words.
Yeah. Another was just pitiful.
Yeah, that's the main, the main villain thus far has had less dialogue than this. And I get maybe you want to keep your villain mysterious, but...
Yeah. Maybe they just don't want to pay for voice acting. That must be it.
That's it. They are a very... They just don't have that much money at Blizzard. They have to penny pinch.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's... man, I just can't... I just can't cope with this sheer amount of damage they've done to Tauren stuff. Because those are the two things that I cared about them. Well, okay. The 3 things I cared about the most in World of Warcraft from a lore perspective, in roughly ascending order of caring, would have been the Elune stuff, the Tauren stuff, and the light. And I don't know if you're maybe keeping track on what things they've really, really focused in on this expansion, and basically through explaining them in Tides of the Shadowlands, possibly destroyed them. But in order, that's been Elune, with the 9.15 or the 9.1 stuff showing Elune up and implying her role is really weird. They could rescue it still, but having Elune speak through Tyrande basically shattered all of my care about Elune from like a personal perspective. And now the Tauren stuff is all just completely... Oh yeah, Afterlives, yeah, wow. Sorry, ancestor worship's like a really important part of the culture of, basically half our planet. Yeah.
Yeah, good shit.
Yeah. You know why your loved ones die? Because blue people take them away. That's it.
Yeah. The fucking Smurfs from space.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, as opposed to the other blue people from space. But, it's like, okay, well, if blue people are taking away my ancestors. Kid just died. Yeah, it's fine. Blue people taking them away. It's like, what happens if the blue people don't take them away? They don't die? And you're like, sweet. Obviously they explain from the Bastion perspective why this has to happen, from the Shadowlands perspective, but that all leads into this purpose stuff. because they don't actually explain it. They can't go, the anima, we need the anima for the Shadowlands. Like, why? Because we do. Why? Because the purpose. What's the purpose? Purpose is some shit here. And you just have this like this long leading logical trail of why does anything in Azeroth matter? And the resounding answer leads eventually to this stuff. And this is I don't want to be too rude because I kind of like some of the thinking here. I think this stuff could be cool in a different context, but it's unintelligible and clearly not everything is filled in on the way down, which means there's massive logical leaps that we literally do not have any capacity to understand because they cannot tell us.
I think it's pretty simple.
We're playing fill the fucking blanks.
This is written for its writer.
Yeah.
It's not written for the people playing the game. And that's why this is why none of this shit has resonated.
Yeah.
Clearly, whoever is involved in writing this is so much more interested in their own big ideas than they are interested in things like the setting of Warcraft, the peoples of Warcraft, all of those things. Like, we got, there's like all this, and we get like the tiniest sliver of lip service to, Teldrassil. It's like, go save 15 souls from Torghast, and then Tyrande will run away.
Yep.
And the Night Fae campaign. You're like, all right, cool. Really? That was it? That was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Very unfortunate.
So now that that's, now that we've survived that.
Barely. Not intact.